At a very young age, I knew I had fallen in love with stories. For that reason, I've always been drawn to photography and the power it has to transcend language, culture, and circumstance. It was these qualities that inspired me to do a 10-day photography class with a group of orphans with various disabilities at the Hogares Luz y Vida. With the help of an annual employee development program at Walt Disney Imagineering and the generous donations from coworkers and friends, I was able to travel to Bogotá, Colombia with 10 camera kits and 3 fellow vagabonds, Lori, Susan, and John. Lori, Susan, and John would be working at the Hogares Orphanage while I worked at the school. When I first arrived, I was so struck by the rich, beautiful, and kind culture of Colombia. But more than anything, I was eager to meet my students, and nervous. I knew there would be ongoing challenges, among them my inability to speak Spanish. The moment I arrived at the school, though, children with crutches and missing limbs ran up to me, giving me the biggest and warmest hugs ever, even though they hadn't even met me. Their love melted away my anxieties, and I was humbled at the courage and openness of these children. I had originally been told that I would be working with 10 hearing-impaired teenagers for the photo class. But on the first day of school, I was instead standing in a classroom with 17 kids, ages 7 through 19, all with different conditions, from missing limbs, paralyzed bodies, and mental illness. I took a deep breath, preparing myself for the impending chaos. With the help of Lena, a young woman who had been teaching English, Emily, my dear friend who had just moved to Bogotá, and Google Translate, I gave a quick lesson on Photography 101. I went over composition, speed, lighting, and perspective, but most importantly, I shared with the class what photography meant to me. That photography is a powerful way to communicate and express their thoughts, emotions, and creativity. We passed out the 10 camera kits amongst the 17 children, and to my pleasant surprise, those who could hear rapidly began signing to those who were hearing impaired. It was so apparent that sharing, taking turns, and caring for each other was a natural way of being with these kids. As soon as I finished the presentation, the students were already playing with the projector and applying what they had learned about light, perspective, and motion. Heidi was a last-minute addition to the class. At first, I wasn't sure whether she even wanted to be part of the photo project. Her mind and attention seemed to be constantly wandering all over the place. It came as a surprise then when my friend Emily found Heidi crying while the other kids were working. Her friend later revealed that she was upset because she thought she wasn't going to be allowed to participate. After spending some time comforting her, Emily was able to win Heidi's trust. By then, the class had been dismissed, so I was able to talk to her individually as well. Heidi's eyes continued to dart around as if she was distracted, but as soon as I asked, "Would you like to be part of the photo project?" and Emily gave a quick translation, Heidi's gaze locked onto the camera I offered, and a smile spread across her face. We went through the basics of using the camera, her attention completely focused the entire time. Soon, she was the one directing Emily, Lena, and me for a shot that she had in mind. She continued this way for the rest of the week, eagerly snapping photos of her favorite topic, people. The final day of the photo project, we were able to throw a fiesta, a small gallery of the children's work, and awarded each of the students for their participation. The children from the school in Hogar performed a dance for us in return, in full-fledged cockatoo costume. No one seemed to bat an eye that the entire audience was full of kids in wheelchairs and feeding tubes. After the dance, we presented a special treat. We played Monsters, Inc. in Spanish and passed out Mickey, Minnie, and Sully dolls donated by the Walt Disney Company. The children were overjoyed at the toys and were still singing Disney tunes after the fiesta was over. It had been an incredible week, experiencing joys and sorrows, witnessing redemption as well as injustice. The word that will never escape my mind about this place is dignity. It was hard to say goodbye, but we knew that the children were left in the good and faithful hands of Sister Valeriana and her staff.